The young pallbearers who carried the Queen's coffin across central London and in Windsor on Monday received huge praise for their impeccable work. The bearer party was highly praised throughout Monday as they carried the Queen's £500 lead-line coffin on several occasions as the country and the royal family were bidding their final farewell. Among their duties, the pallbearers walked with the casket on their shoulders inside Westminster Abbey ahead of Queen Elizabeth II's funeral and up the steep stairs of St George's Chapel for the committal service. However, they completed perhaps their most important task far from the spotlight, with only a few people witnessing their work. On Monday evening, after the Queen's coffin had been lowered into the royal vault underneath St George's Chapel, the 8 pallbearers moved the late sovereign into her final resting place next to her beloved husband of 73 years, Prince Philip. The pallbearers' day likely started before 10:30 a.m. yesterday, when they were at Westminster Hall to move the Queen's coffin on the gun carriage directed to Westminster Abbey. Their final task took place after the royals attended a private service started at 7:30 p.m., which means these guardsmen's grueling shift likely lasted for more than 12 hours. Praising their outstanding work in a comment piece for the Daily Telegraph, General Lord Dennett, the UK's former Chief of the General Staff, wrote, "These young guardsmen deserve particular praise. Even when the cameras are switched off at the end of the day and the final private service of committal is being held at St George's Chapel, Windsor, their duty will not be over." Deep in the royal vault under the chapel, the pallbearers will have one final unseen duty, to move the late Queen's body to its final resting place close to her husband, the Duke of Edinburgh, and to her father, King George VI. Once all is complete, then these young men too can relax and reflect on their very difficult job. Extremely well done. Lord Dennett wasn't the only person to heap praise on the pallbearers. Many of those who watched the Queen's funeral took to Twitter to express their admiration for the guardsmen. TV host Piers Morgan tweeted, "These magnificent 1st Battalion Grenadier Guard pallbearers have been done their Queen and country proud. Incredible job under hugely stressful conditions." Russell Grant wrote on the platform, "I know people will say it's their duty, but the 8 pallbearers have been perfect in every way. They each deserve a medal." Social media user James Tuckett wrote, "These lads have been impeccable throughout, an absolute credit to our forces and the Crown." Similarly, Claire Louise added, "Never in my life have I been as proud of people I don't know as I have these young men." Some of these pallbearers, part of the Queen's Company's 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards, were called back from Iraq for this historic duty. The youngest member of the bearer party was 19-year-old Fletcher Cox, who had already carried the Queen's casket on Wednesday during the procession from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Hall. The team of pallbearers was led by Company Sergeant Major Dean Jones, a married father of 1. The Grenadier Guards is the most senior regular army regiment and dates back to 1656. Following the burial of the late monarch, the company will now change its name to the King's Company, and will carry on guarding the sovereign and his palaces. Her Majesty's emotional last journey ended with a private ceremony attended only by family members and people close to the late 96-year-old. Afterwards, the Queen was laid to rest in the small chapel built in 1962 and named after her father. In the King George VI Memorial Chapel, located next to the choir of the main St George's Chapel, the late sovereign was reunited not only with Prince Philip but also with her adored mother and father. Her sister Princess Margaret had also been interred there following her death in 2002.